Entran en pánico cuando se dan cuenta que ya pasaron el muro. Lastimosamente.
Okay, so it turns out hit the wall is an actual phrase that is being used by men.
I feel like nobody is talking about how hard it is to be a Nicholas Sparks girl in today's day and age. Like, and I am out here getting a yo, you up text, like the letter U, not even the full spelling of you. Or like, what's your snap?
Okay, so as a woman, one thing that I'm very sick and tired of seeing is all of these women giving bad advice, especially to the younger women. Because you know what it is? Misery loves company.
But before we go any further, let me share the comment of the day.
Oh my God.
Shout out to CJ Stedman. He said, "The lie is that women weren't allowed to work before feminism. It wasn't that women weren't allowed to work, it's they didn't have to. The idea that a woman's place was in the home was because their home had to be managed. Their kids had to be raised properly. Their husbands' providers needed their wives to manage the home life so they could concentrate on providing for that home family. Growing up in the 50s and 60s, if my mom had to work outside the home, it's because dad's business took a hit, and mom and kids had to help pull the wagon for a while. When the business got back on track, things went back to normal. When the older kids moved on to work or college, or when they were old enough to not require babying from mom, most women got jobs or became community moms in civic organizations. When I moved out, and my brothers were old enough to be responsible, they were expected to do household chores and have supper ready on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. The days when mom worked at dad's business, they did it because family was important. It's not important anymore. Is that good or bad?
Please don't forget to reach out to us by email to claim your $5 for that comment of the day. As usual, guys, I'll pick one comment from each video. It may be the funniest, the most liked, or one that touched me, so don't forget to leave a comment and you may be our next winner. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons too, as it helps a lot. And now, back to the video. Embrace your masculinity.
I just want to get this right here. So what you're telling me here is that women are only attractive for a certain period of time. Is that what you're telling me? Right? And then they're all used up and then they're not good anymore. You know? Now I know I heard about these rumors. I knew about the wall. I knew about hitting the wall. And I definitely knew about over 25 you were like used up and used goods, but I didn't know, you know, how are we supposed to know? Because they still want me. Because they still want to use me. Was I supposed to get like an expiration stamp was supposed to pop up on my ass? Or there's all these different scenarios. Like, what if I go into like an old age home and I'm like the hot 75-year-old and everybody's like 90 and they still want me? See all these conditions and stuff? I mean, I gotta know. I'm really confused of like what I'm supposed to know, because I have to start buying cats and you know, scared. So please tell me when, you know, I'll just wait for that stamp on my ass, I guess. I need to stay safe. Oh God. That's fucking complex.
Isn't it remarkable how some modern women, draped in their self-proclaimed enlightenment, seem absolutely oblivious to the basic tenets of biology and human nature? Her sarcastic retort about the concept of hitting the wall demonstrates a clear disconnect from reality. In the dating arena, women have an advantage in their youth, from late teens to late 20s. This isn't some archaic viewpoint, it's grounded in both societal norms and biological drives. The attention they receive during this prime time is unparalleled, yet as the big three, looms, they begin to witness a shift. The attention dwindles, the suitors become less frequent, and those high-value men? They're now eyeing younger prospects. The tragic irony is that many women let genuinely good men pass them by in their prime years, only to find that those very same men, as they age, turn their eyes to younger, more fertile prospects. Why? Because that's nature's dance. Men, especially those of high value, will naturally gravitate towards women who are in their prime reproductive years, youthful, vibrant, and fertile. This isn't about disparaging the worth of a 30-year-old woman, but rather stating a simple, albeit harsh, fact of life. Men in their prime earning and stability years will often seek women in their early to mid-20s for long-term relationships and starting a family. It's just how nature intended, and no amount of modern-day rhetoric can alter that. It's not a complex riddle. It's the unforgiving nature of biology and societal norms.
Y así es como muchas de estas mujeres, por ejemplo, posmuro, que no pueden salir a hacer un TikTok sin maquillaje, sin arreglarse, sin peinarse. O sea, tienen que producirse antes de salir a hacer un TikTok. ¿Por qué? Porque ellas todavía piensan que eso pues, va a ser atractivo para los hombres. Que igual y sí lo es, pero no para lo que ellas quisieran. Ellas quisieran una relación, pero la mayoría de las veces, no es que siempre, solamente se las quieren montar.
So, her snide remarks about being pursued by 90-year-olds when she's 70 are laughable at best. Instead of taking a moment of introspection and accepting the realities of the dating world, she resorts to mocking sarcasm. The truth, however, remains unchanged. The wall is real, and it is merciless.
Hit the wall is a phrase used by men to describe the age at which a woman is no longer attractive.
Okay, so it turns out hit the wall is an actual phrase that is being used by men. That means that women are no longer attractive when they hit this wall. I really implore you to go and watch the rest of that video because she goes on to compare male and female celebrities in magazines and shows that even when they're close to the same age, a woman's photo will show no skin texture, whereas a man's photo will show his skin texture.
Oh my God, ahora vas a decir eso. Por favor, ¿y todas las cirugías qué? Todas las cirugías que se hacen las mujeres, ¿qué? O sea, no puedes ocultarlo. De hecho, lo tienes que hacer, o tienes que recurrir a eso para poder ocultarlo. Los hombres no tenemos nada que ocultar.
We're seeing this everywhere, including in social media. We're using filters everywhere. And so we're at the point now where people see a woman in real life and don't understand that that's normal. So there is no wall, but there is a problem when we have airbrushed and filtered ourselves to this level of perfection.
Here we go again. Another attempt to deflect and misdirect from a basic point. The wall isn't about filtering or airbrushing photos. It's a reflection of the harsh realities of the dating marketplace and the biological differences between men and women. That said, there is validity in criticizing our unrealistic standards of beauty, but let's not muddy the waters and conflate two distinct issues. Firstly, while women do face increased scrutiny in the beauty domain, men aren't exempt from pressures either. The idea that men can simply age gracefully while women can't is overblown. Both genders face societal expectations, they're just different. But to outright deny the existence of the wall or its implications is just wishful thinking. The age of social media and its relentless push for perfection has skewed our perceptions of reality. The very standard that many women find oppressive, more often than not, is upheld and perpetuated by women themselves. The irony, I've always found it amusing how women are quick to point fingers at men for creating these so-called beauty standards. Still, when you peek behind the curtain, it's a lot of women shaming, comparing, and undermining other women. It's like a twisted game of who can set the bar higher. From beauty magazines run by female editors pushing the latest impossible beauty trend to Instagram influencers and their endless parade of filtered selfies and perfect lifestyles.
Al final de cuentas, ellas mismas compiten entre ellas mismas cuando se trata del muro. Están viendo ahí quién se ve mejor, quién tiene al mejor hombre, a quien le proveen más, a dónde vas, todo el estatus social, toda la vida social, ¿no? Entre ellas mismas compiten, especialmente las posmuro. Oh, mira, ella está operada, ella se ve bien, ella esto, lo otro. O sea, ellas mismas elevan esa vara, se ponen el listón muy alto y tratan de cumplir esos estándares y tratan de cumplir con esos requisitos y estándares que esperan de los hombres y también tratan de cumplir con esas expectativas de los estándares de belleza. Entonces, prácticamente es imposible.
Women are often their own worst enemies, and then there's the race to get under the knife, modify this, lift that. Who are they trying to impress? Because if you ask most men, they'd prefer a natural look. I mean, 90% of guys love a woman who's confident in her own skin without a pound of makeup. The sisterhood seems to have a knack for tripping itself up. Instead of lifting each other up, they've created a labyrinth of impossible standards and then cry foul when they can't meet them. But you see, admitting that would mean taking accountability, and who wants to do that in today's blame-shifting culture? Instead, let's keep the narrative alive that it's all men's fault while secretly competing and cutting down the next woman in line. Makes total sense, right?
I feel like nobody is talking about how hard it is to be a Nicholas Sparks girl in today's day and age. Like, I'm 25 and I'm single and I'm a hopeless romantic.
Oh my god, 25 años, soltera y fuera una relación romántica. O sea, no nos extraña por qué. O sea, en lugar de estar aquí haciendo TikToks a tus 25 años, pues deberías estar ya planeando tu boda. Pero hay una razón por la cual, bueno, puede haber muchas razones por las cuales esta chica pues no tiene un pretendiente, no tiene un anillo en el dedo, ¿ok? A esta edad ya deberían de tener un anillo en el dedo de hace 3, 4 años atrás o incluso más, pero bueno.
And today's day and age is not having it for that. Like, Nicholas Sparks raised me. He raised me to think of like the gentleman, Prince Charming, grand gesture kind of guy. Like, even my dad is still like that. Him and my mom have been married for almost 30 years and he still writes her a love note every morning before he leaves for work. And I am out here getting a yo, you up text, like the letter U, not even the full spelling of you. Or like, what's your snap? Like, I know people ask for Snapchat. I'm not an idiot, but like, I'm 25. I don't want people to be asking for my Snapchat anymore. I feel like there's bigger problems to discuss if you're still asking for girls' Snapchats at 25. Like, where do the...
Ellas mismas se están poniendo en el muro ya a los 25. O sea, lidiar con chicas a esta edad, por eso les digo, después de los 25, güey, ya no hay nada que hablar con ellas, sinceramente. No traen cotorreo, güey. O sea, no traen cotorreo, tú lo puedes ver. Pues incluso se molestan cuando le pides el Snapchat. O sea... prácticamente es el teléfono, lo que sea. O sea, se molestan por eso. Porque ya están amargadas, güey.
Nicholas Sparks grand gesture gentleman hangout. Because it can't be here.
Wait. Time out.
I feel like nobody is talking about how hard it is to be a Nicholas Sparks girl in today's day and age. Like, I'm 25 and...
A Nicholas Sparks girl? At 25? Wake up, sweetheart. This isn't Hollywood. Reality is way different, and if you're basing your love life on some teary-eyed paperback, you're in for a shocker.
Like, even my dad is still like that. Him and my mom have been married for almost 30 years, and he still writes her a love note every morning before he leaves for work.
Here we go again. Comparing today's dating scene with what our parents had is like comparing vinyl records to Spotify. 2 different eras, 2 different vibes. And honestly, if you're basing your relationship standards on what your dad did for your mom, maybe reevaluate your measuring stick.
And I am out here getting a yo, you up text, like the letter U, not even the full spelling of you. Or like, what's your snap?
Boo-hoo. Newsflash. You're accepting that behavior. You set the standards. You get what you allow. If you're answering those you up texts, that's what you're gonna get. So why act surprised? And here's the grand finale. Where are the gentlemen? They're out there. but maybe they're steering clear because they can see through the facade. If you're searching for someone genuine, start by being genuine yourself. Look, this narrative that chivalry is dead because men are different now, that's bogus. Sure, times have changed, but genuine men are still out there. Maybe it's about what you're bringing to the table.
Exactamente. O sea, ellas traen una narrativa de que la caballerosidad se acabó, que hay hombres buenos. Bueno, sí hay hombres buenos, pero el problema eres tú, tu comportamiento. Tiene toda la razón, güey. Ahí se comportan las mujeres hoy en día. O sea, tienen un comportamiento y esperan resultados que funcionaban anteriormente. Vaya, tenían un comportamiento moderno, no puedes esperar los resultados que obtenía cuando compara a su familia, a su papá, a su mamá. No puedes tener los mismos resultados. ¿Okay? Tienes que cambiar el comportamiento. Y ese es el problema con las mujeres modernas. O sea, no pueden verse en un espejo, reflexionar y ver que ellas son las que tienen el problema. Pero bueno, culpando siempre a los hombres, como siempre, ¿no?
Want a love note every morning? Are you worth waking up early for? Are you writing love notes back? Reality check. If you're still chasing some romanticized fiction at 25, waiting for Mr. Perfect while entertaining you-up texts and Snapchat requests, maybe it's time to look in the mirror and ask, am I the problem? This whole rant is draped in victimhood. The universe hasn't wronged her. She's just fishing in the wrong ponds and then blaming the fish. If her interactions are a parade of players, then perhaps she should reevaluate her strategy. Maybe the crux isn't the absence of genuine men, perhaps it's the obscured, fantasy-driven persona she's projecting.
Okay, so as a woman, one thing that I'm very sick and tired of seeing is all of these women giving bad advice, especially to the younger women. Because you know what it is? Misery loves company. I see all of these women in their 30s, 40s, 50s that are giving terrible advice to women in their 20s and even younger than that. So coming from a woman, I'm going to be honest with you and I'm going to tell you what hitting the wall means. So men value different things than women do. They value beauty, youth, and they value someone that respects themselves. When you start aging, your biological clock is ticking, and that is just a real fact. Going into your 30s, your options are going to be less than when you were in your 20s. And those guys around your age are now looking at the younger women, and you're going to be competing now with the 20-year-olds for the guys that you want. And then now when you're ready to start settling down and possibly start thinking about having kids, those same guys might feel like you're rushing them and they might not want the same things at this point. So then the dating market starts getting stressful, and then now these women are rushing for time because now their biological clock is really ticking and they want to go through the stages. And then a lot of them end up single, a lot of them end up childless because they chose to have fun in their 20s instead of looking for a relationship. And they thought that when the time came that they did want to settle down, that they would still have all the options that they had when they were 20. But then reality hits, and a lot of them end up childless and single and not by choice. So don't listen to all of these women that are saying that they're so happy and they're so content with not having children and they didn't want to get married, because the reality is that a lot of them did, most of them did. And by that point, they just didn't have a choice anymore. And so they had to accept that now they are childless and single. So,
está hablando con puras verdades esta chica, ¿eh? Les está dando con todo. Es cierto, no tienen otra opción. Los posmuros no tienen otra opción más que estar ahí y quejarse. Porque, ¿qué más pueden hacer? O sea, no pueden remediar lo que ya pasó. No pueden remediar eso. No pueden competir contra las jóvenes y no pueden hacer que los hombres de su edad las volteen a ver para algo serio. Esa es la verdad.
of course, they're going to make the best out of it. But what I don't like is that they're preaching to the younger generation that this is the way to go. Because if they could have chosen otherwise, they would have.
It's about time someone from within the female community highlighted the bare-faced realities instead of peddling fantasies. It's almost ironic, isn't it? While women champion the importance of empowering each other, some are busy leading the younger generation astray. The advice that is often thrown around in the name of feminism or independence can unfortunately be misguided and destructive. The speaker hits the nail on the head. Men and women value different things in relationships, and there's nothing wrong with acknowledging that. Youth and beauty, like it or not, are commodities in the dating world, especially for women. While it might sound archaic, biology doesn't bend to modern societal narratives. The fact is, as women age, the dating pool shrinks. The notion of having fun in your 20s has been overly romanticized. Yes, everyone should live their life to the fullest, but that shouldn't come at the cost of ignoring reality and the future implications of one's choices. Time doesn't stand still, and neither do people's priorities. The men in their 30s, many of whom now command higher societal value, are often inclined towards younger partners. It's just a reflection of the age-old adage, men age like wine, women like milk. What's troubling, though, is the echo chamber of denial that many women are subjected to. This notion that every woman who is single and childless in her later years chose that life is not just naive, it's damaging. While some genuinely embrace and relish this life, many find themselves cornered into it, having missed the boat in their prime years. More power to the women like the speaker who dare to voice out these uncomfortable truths. The younger generation needs more such genuine guidance and less of the sugar-coated, live-in-the-moment drivel. Because at the end of the day, choices have consequences, and it's better to make informed ones.
Bucks, thank you so much.
Hablando con puras verdades. Y sí, bueno, así es como vas a escuchar a las mujeres modernas simplemente quejándose, entrando en pánico porque ya no las voltean a ver. Se convierten en... Pues es que ya no se convierten en nada. O sea, son invisibles prácticamente para los hombres. Esa es la verdad. Especialmente las posmuro. Y bueno, te estás dando cuenta que el muro ya llegó o está en los 25, como esta chica. Y va a seguir bajando.